So it looks like it's time to get started. First of all, I want to welcome everyone to our webinar and give a big thanks to everyone for attending. I'm so excited to be here, meeting all of our existing users and some new faces as well. As Jim mentioned, my name is Brian. I'm the Associate Product Manager at MeasureSquare. For the past year and a half, I've been working to develop the CRM that we'll be talking about today. Along the way, I've had the pleasure of working side by side with flooring contractors just like yourselves to make sure that we're delivering solutions that work out in the field and not just on paper. And then just to reiterate one last time, I'm accompanied here by Jim, James, another James, and Keelan. They'll all be in the chat rooms to respond to any questions you guys may have along the way. Um, and today we're going to be taking a look at our brand new MeasureSquare CRM. It's a one-stop solution to manage your customers and jobs in the flooring industry. And with that being said, I'll start with our agenda for today's webinar. So here's our structure. We'll first be taking a look at the major challenges of the flooring business. We'll also take a deeper dive into the unique challenges of a MeasureSquare user in specific, and some of the limitations of today's CRMs. And that'll transition into the benefits and the potential benefits that they're leaving on the table. And then we'll take a look at how MeasureSquare CRM responds to these challenges and the different benefits within it. Then we'll do a brief demo of our CRM and then open up the floor for Q&A. And then before we dive into the rest of our webinar, you should see another poll on your screen. A lot of our development for the CRM is driven by user feedback. And in that interest, we'd love to learn more about what common trends are with our user base. I'll give you guys a moment to answer that. Then I'll switch gears to our challenges. So what are the challenges of the flooring business? For a contractor or dealer, there's just too many different software programs that don't really talk to each other. And as a consequence, you have to bridge that gap with double entry. And it makes it hard to manage changes between all these systems and keep things up to date. Because all of your data is stored in separate places like Excel, MeasureSquare, or any other software that you end up with, you have this really disconnected workflow where people at any two different stages of the job are just not on the same page. And because of this disconnected workflow, there's a lack of transparency. There's a real opportunity where you can see the financial prices that were projected and track those along with the actual costs of the job. The next thing that we want to look at is the major challenges of a MeasureSquare customer. One of the biggest challenges that we face is that our takeoff data is really disconnected from some of your other systems. The only way to patch that is through PDFs, Excel files, CSVs. And for users much like yourself, a lot of people have been asking for a way to improve our price tracking. And just like how we like to deliver improvements to your user experience on the estimating software, our team has taken on that challenge to build a first of its kind catalog that can talk back to our CRM and diagrams to make sure that you're getting all the best prices. And then lastly, like I mentioned earlier, that disconnected workflow makes it almost impossible to track changes to estimates and have those follow through to the rest of your system very smoothly. And then we'll look at some of the gaps inside of our existing CRM systems today. Today's CRMs have a lack of estimating data integration. Again, hard to manage those change orders. And there's also a lack of trade support for things specific to the flooring industry, like SOVs, those ever-changing product catalogs, and job scheduling. So all of these processes have to be handled at different places, again, with all those different leaps and jumps. With those challenges in mind, we're going to shift gears and talk a bit about how our MeasureSquare CRM answers problems like disconnected systems, lack of pricing, change orders, and missed opportunities to get that financial transparency. And then before we shift gears, I think you should see another poll on your screen. So if you give you guys a minute for that. All right. So these gaps that I mentioned were what formed the core idea of our CRM. This is not a general function CRM. The CRM is built to streamline jobs in the flooring industry from leads and takeoffs and estimating to purchasing and scheduling and all the way through to field management and billing. Some of the key and core features, and when I say key and core features, I mean things specific to the flooring industry. Um, there are some of these highlights here. Our first key feature is instant document and order form creation. Because of our deep integration with our original estimations and diagrams on MeasureSquare, our system can create order forms with the push of a button, and it can talk right back to your diagrams to keep things updated with the latest changes. The second is our vendor price request tracking and email integration. This allows you to manage prices accurately in our system, passing those prices directly onto your purchase orders. And for those of you who handle those processes over email, we also connect directly with that to make sure you're not jumping around looking for artifacts of evidence. And lastly, we have an automated SOV creation because all of our project data, quotes, and order forms are all in our system. And then lastly, we have accounting system integration with things like QuickBooks and Xero and plenty more on the way. Now we're going to take a deep dive into a lot of the features within our system and all the different ways that our CRM could support your business. The first thing I want to talk about in our CRM is how it can be used to manage your takeoff and estimation process. By staying on the cloud and on a website, everyone can stay up to date with estimations, order forms, creations, and sales. Users from all sides of the business can not only view your diagrams, but they could see updates to these order forms, emails, and different stages along the way. And that means that your team can collaborate on these processes live and online. Now, our system takes being on the cloud another layer deeper. We're not only allowing you to save order forms and communications on the cloud, but you can now view your 2D and 3D takeoffs. You could also check out product usages, room layouts. You could share photos and files. And best of all, you'll now be able to make light edits to this diagram while you're on your browser with full cross-compatibility with our past takeoff software. A quick edit here, say changing a room or adding a product, will show up instantly for all of your users. For heavier re-estimations for those large and detailed systems, our CRM will actually connect directly with MeasureSquare 8 or MeasureSquare Mobile and keep those live updates as well. This jump in functionality means that your team, sales, estimating, project managers can all have live collaboration with more transparency into what page everyone is on. Now we can drill even more into this online cloud collaboration. Our system allows you to create quotes directly from our online diagram and attach those MeasureSquare floor plans, cut sheets, and data. And because this quote is stored online, our system not only live updates, but it'll track when customers view your quotes as well, and it can even capture signatures online. This tracking helps you gauge customer interest based on the way they view it and when they view it. And it can even give you the opportunity to follow up at the right time and close more sales. For our commercial users who need to submit a more customizable and professional bid, our system allows you to design unique templates. This includes adding your own custom cover letters, formatting, and supporting documents. And this comprehensive bid template allows you to include photos and attachments as well, all for that rich connection with our takeoff. Um, that way, if you need to update your diagram or create alternates, you can do so with zero effort. We also include our 2D and 3D diagrams to give your bids a more professional touch and help you close more opportunities. So those are all the features on the sort of intro to cloud side and creating bids and quotes. But another key value is that our CRM adds the ability to instantly create price requests and email those price requests out based on your product estimates and quantities. Our CRM automatically tracks emails and responses so that, a few months down the line, you're not searching through countless emails to find that pricing info ever again. And on top of that, our system also tracks expiration dates, letting you know in advance when a bid is about to expire. And you could really take advantage of this price expiration to either update your bid, that way you're not turning around to purchase goods and all the prices have changed, or even be proactive and reach out to a GC and say, hey, the prices will be updating. Do you want to make a decision soon? And now we'll take a look at our CRM handles SOVs. I'm sure a lot of us know the pain of tracking SOVs manually, how difficult it is to jump through months of papers, emails, documents, and all those different spreadsheets you have to keep updated. But with our CRM, everything's tracked in one place. So this process can be automated because our online diagrams track your quotes, your orders, and all of your prices. We're making it so you don't have to go all over the place to create these, next month's billing. And on top of that, not only does it keep it all in one place, our system can filter out and create this automatically in just seconds with a few clicks. And a big benefit as well is, let's say a GC wants to know how you got the prices for your SOV or for this billing. our system can actually point them to every single work order, purchase order, or email that backs up your numbers, saving you countless hours of having to search frantically for a single piece of paper. And now, of course, with all these added features, we've expanded our diagram to track full-on projects as well. You can track all of your projects from start to finish and in one place. And then you can use this data to forecast your company's activities with fully customizable pipelines. And by tracking all of your projects in our CRM, we're able to keep all of your project documents, your notes, your tasks, and even your maintenance all in one place. This gets rid of the need to run around to different resources and websites to paint the full picture. And it means that anyone on your job could hop into one of these projects and instantly figure out what's going on. Another cool benefit is that down the line, say you ever need to come back to a job for maintenance, all of your documents are going to be in the same place. And the final piece of our puzzle is our field management application for Job Tracker. As some of you might already know, Job Tracker is our mobile application for field management. It's already seen tons of success with other users, and it allows you to track your job sites for moisture testing with integration to Tramex and Wagner, so you're doing these moisture tests in a matter of minutes instead of hours. It also tracks task completion, job site issues, punch lists, and all of that connects back with our MeasureSquare diagrams in CRM. This is currently a separate product that is automatically packaged with our CRM, and it will be plugging directly into our one-stop solution. That way your office team has eyes on what's happening in the field. And lastly, we like to keep an open door to integration with all parts of our CRM. So many of you are already using existing accounting softwares. We integrate directly with QuickBooks and Xero, with many more platforms to come. Your email software will also be fully integrated, not only sending and tracking emails through our site, but also tracking contacts and calendars as well. We also let you import vendor catalogs to have them updated with pricing inside of our system. And for platforms that we don't already integrate with, we also have an open API for third-party integrations. This could mean connecting it to any of your existing systems, or for some of you, maybe it's a form on your website that could connect directly in our system to create leads and contact information. And down the line, we're working to become FC B2B compatible to really strengthen all of those connections. And so a real quick recap, we're not only moving our diagrams and our ability to view and edit those diagrams online. Our CRM is instant order form creation, powerful price tracking, field management, and project management as well. And then before I explain a bit more about our demo, there should be one last poll being sent out now. I just want to make sure that everyone gets a chance to read through it and respond.
Thanks. Thank you, Brian. I just going to jump in real quick to give you a little bit of a breather. So yeah, this is our last poll. So I know this is everyone's first look at a lot of these features and functionalities in here. You know, we want to make sure we're respectful of everyone's time and just kind of get the ball rolling, get everyone their first look at this. So we don't expect everyone to fully understand everything the CRM does, but just from what you guys initially see, feel free to just kind of give us like, hey, what looks like the top three things in the CRM that you were looking for. If there's anything you were expecting and maybe you didn't see, feel free to throw that into the chat as well. I know there's some questions we're still answering. So again, our operational teams and our product teams will see all this response and feedback. So we do take this very seriously, so we could implement and kind of course correct when needed, or hopefully validate things we already knew or had planned. So feel free to take a moment to answer those. Like I say, a lot of people responding, so we appreciate it. If you happen to join late and you click on the polls and you didn't answer one of the past ones, feel free to go ahead and click on one of those. We ran some polls about if you're an existing customer or not. What are your top three pain points? What CRM, if any, are you using? If you aren't using any of the options and you have your own way of doing things that like would filter into tracking leads, tracking your projects, feel free to throw that into Q&A chat as well. We'll definitely see that as a response too. So just as like a little kind of a feedback, since I can see the poll results, I'm not sure if anyone else can, but we see a lot of folks saying that one of their biggest pain points is a single place for all their orders, bids, and documents, along with vendor price requests seems to be going up the ranks, along with a project lead and dashboard. So those are, I never want to say that's a good pain point to have, but I'm happy to see those results as the CRM is going to be a great tool for those. And I'm going to just speak a little bit to those as Brian gets ready to go through a demo. We're not going to do a full demo of the system because we could probably spend 30, 40 minutes on each section of the demo. So we're going to do a kind of very specific demo for you guys to show off one of the very quick, easy workflows. And then we'll take some more Q&A at the end as well. But the one of our, we have a lot of users in here that are using our MeasureSquare 8, our iPad, or our Android, or maybe even past versions of those, and you may not be on the latest and greatest. But the CRM is really a kind of the next step in our evolution as a flooring software company. And we have these really great takeoff tools with MeasureSquare 8 and our on-site measuring apps. But it usually just stops here. You can estimate, you can do some quoting, maybe do some bidding, but you're really using it to quantify and maybe do some pricing. The CRM is kind of a way for us to unify all the other steps of a project or job's life cycle. So some folks may be familiar with our job tracker app. That's our field management tool where you can do on-site tracking. And sorry, I was getting distracted by chat real quick. And so on. So we're using this to unify all those things into one place. So all your order forms, change orders, work orders, quotes, instead of being locked into like a specific device and maybe having to email someone to grab those, maybe someone's going on to the next measurement, or if they're working on a bid, they're out sick that day. When all this is being worked on within the CRM, which is purely web-based, they'll easily be able to access that from any time. I think one of the questions in the chat was, can we control who sees what? Like many other CRMs, you'll be able to have control over roles and permissions. So if someone should only see what's owned by them and not see other team members, you could split that up as admins and operational managers who wants to see everything. You'll be able to have that transparency above it. But all those order forms will be able to be in one place. So it'll be very easy to see those from your web browser, on your computer, to your iPad, to your phone. You'll be able to access those very easily over the web. The dashboard is a really great way to organize everything. It's kind of like the container for everything you work on. So I know that since that's a big pain point, that's one of the key aspects or kind of key entry points in the CRM. And then the vendor pricing request is also a very cool feature that I hope people will jump on the platform to test out, where you can take your quantities and products from your estimation, select those ones that you need to get a price quote from a vendor, and then shoot that request to the vendor automatically without having to type each one or copy and paste or something like that. And then when they respond, all that will be stored within the CRM because of the different integrations we've done as well. So just wanted to kind of expand on that, give Brian a little break there. I'll jump back in and answer some of these questions that we see here. I see the QA still seems to be coming through here. All right. All right. So, Brian, I know you just asked me a question. Yeah, you can go ahead and do a little bit more. It looks like we're doing pretty good on time. So, Brian, if you are ready, I can stop babbling a little bit and hand it back over to you. So Brian's going to go ahead and do a demo for everyone. And honestly, there might be things that you want to see that we won't cover yet. So feel free to let us know what you're really interested in again, and we'll have follow-up meetings, and we'll also let you know how to access this at the end. So I will mute myself, Brian, so you can take over.
All right. Awesome. And thank you for that much needed break. So now we could shift gears into our demo. I'll be covering just some of the specific workflows in our CRM. There's a whole lot of great things that I would love to show you guys, but in the interest of time, we'll keep the walkthrough to just a few features, namely creating a bid, a quote, and how you could turn those into other order forms. And again, this is just a very simple but powerful workflow. And along the way, you'll see how our CRM organizes projects and diagrams and connects all your data into one place. I'll go ahead and switch gears from our presentation into our CRM. Give me just one moment. All right. So what you see on your screen now is our sales pipeline. It's a place to view all of your current company's leads and projects. And as I mentioned before, everything on this page is fully customizable. That includes the statuses, even setting up multiple pipelines. And everything that I also talked about earlier lives inside of each one of these boxes. So each of these represents a project. And inside of here is your quotes, your emails, notes, general data. And for most of our users, these individual projects will be the starting point of your day-to-day. So I'll dive into a sample project and walk you through the different parts of it at a high level. So this is the homepage of an individual project. This page gives you a lot of tools to manage a project from start through finish. And I'll do a brief walkthrough of this page before hopping into the diagram and showing you how that could be used to create different order forms. So along our left-hand side here, we have a lot of basic administrative data. Where's the job? Who's it with? What's it doing? As well, we also have special features for our commercial users to include multiple GCs in case we don't know who the bid's going to be awarded to. In our center screen, this is how we track our product activity, like product data. Here you can see some of our notes, our emails. And then along our right side, you can see our MeasureSquare diagram, as well as order forms that are driven by that estimation and takeoff data. So quotes, bids, invoices, and various order forms. I'm going to go ahead and click into one of these diagrams. And what you're seeing here on our screen is what I mentioned earlier, that web version of our takeoff software. By hosting our diagram on the web, it keeps it accessible to anyone on your team. It also comes with cool features like 3D viewing. And on the right-hand side, you can see options to edit it. You can see how it plugs into the different order forms within our system, including a PO, a work order, or in this case, we're going to do a bid. And then you've also got some light features to view a summary of the products and the room data as well. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how our system creates a bid. All I need to do is click on this blue add button, and I can see that I'm grouping products by trade. I click OK, and our system is going to go through your diagram, plug in all the right information, and chug that out into an editing screen here. Now for bids in specific, we have this really strong customization where you could see all of your pricing data. I can even go down and see various text sections that might go into my bid. We have libraries for inclusions and exclusions, so I could select pieces instead of having to type up whole entire pieces of text. As I scroll through, we even have an area for project notes. Our terms and conditions come with presets that you can customize and even have a multiple different templates, that way you're not typing up the same paragraphs over and over. And then at the bottom, we have an area to fine-tune your numbers to add any final adjustments. In this case, I might add, a flat 25% margin. And then below that, we handle taxes, material versus labor, different adjustments that you can actually customize yourself. So let's say we add a small bonding fee to there. And you can see once I'm satisfied with my final number, I can view this bid as a presentation. So everything that we entered and plugged in before is on the screen here. As I scroll through, you'll see the different text sections that we had. You'll see that line item data that we created and customized as well. If I scroll through, we have the final price with the signature area. As well, we also automatically import our diagrams. You can add wall views and cut sheets to this as well. And if I scroll back to the top, I want to bring your attention to this gray ribbon here. Now I'm going to go ahead and email this bid out to Jim, and our system will automatically track its updated status and let you know that it's been sent. That way everyone on your team knows when it's been sent, who it was sent by. And a really cool feature is that I've sent it over to Jim. He's going to open this inside of his email. Just by viewing it and refreshing, our system can tell me that it's been viewed by a user. And it can even track how many times it's been looked at. I'll hop back over to the bid. You can see that it's been viewed, and you can even see a timestamp of when he looked at it. And then our system also captures signatures online. So inside of Jim's email, he's probably signing away right now. I'll go ahead and refresh this one more time. Looks like he's still signing it. And there we go.
I'm a slow signer. Sorry about that.
He had to think about it. He had to read the terms and conditions. And as I scroll through, you'll see a signature right there. Hello. Our system, again, is fully connected, so I can hop back into our project real quick, the area that we were at before. And I can even show you how to create a quote. It's the same exact workflow, so I'll go into one of our existing quotes. Or actually, you know what? I'll create one again just to show you how fast it is. Again, I have all of my items from earlier. I'll bring those in. And again, it pulls over your diagram and project data. And our quotes are for more lightweight situations where you just want to get a price out as soon as possible. Again, it's the same workflow that now that I've edited it, I can customize different features. I can hide separate columns. I also have that same drafting feature. A really cool thing is that our system can turn these quotes and bids into other order forms. So from here, I can go to, say, a purchase order. I'll click add, and our system will actually give me options to pull different materials from it. And it even sorts our products by vendor. So I could say I want to send out just a PO to Milliken. Our system will scrape through and pick out just the Milliken items. And now in a matter of seconds, I've created a bid, a quote, and a purchase order inside of my system. The same process goes through for work orders. I'll skip through trying to create, a fourth document when the workflow is pretty much the same, and instead I'll show you a finished work order. Again, it pulls away the labor information, and I could filter it even further from there. But I want to bring your attention towards the name Marchenko, and it's starting from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. If I go into our installation schedule, you could actually see a calendar of all the different work orders and installations that we have with both our in-house and subcontracted installers. For our project managers, this could be their homepage. Now I can see that Marchenko has a bit of an overlap. I can actually drag and move this. And again, our full system is connected, so I could actually hop over. And thank you. I can actually hop over and see the work order connected to that installation schedule. And if I go ahead, you can see it's been moved from 9 to 10. So our full system start to finish is fully connected. And again, this is just some of our workflows. So again, I showed you how to create order documents, how to track your different projects, and even how that connects with the project management side. Of course, I'd love to cover more things. And in this quick demo, I've shown you all those. So we'll switch gears back to our presentation. And that covers all of our content for seeing the CRM as a tool, and the different benefits that it could have for your team. Now, some of you may be wondering, what's the next step? How can I learn more? How can I get started? And before we dive really deep into that, we want to make sure that adopting a more efficient way to run your business goes as smoothly as possible. For all of our CRM users, we always provide an implementation plan where our team will help ramp up your business to use all the different parts of our system to their max potential. With such a comprehensive solution, we find that the fastest way to receive a return on your investment is to go through this guided onboarding process where our support team and customer success reps will work with your team to train each person on their necessary parts of the CRM step by step. Now, for those of you interested in joining soon, we have a pricing package starting at $69 per user per month. And if you want to learn more, reach out to us after the webinar to connect with our team, and we'll work with you to figure out the right pricing and package for your business in specific. And I think that covers a lot of the stuff that I wanted to talk to. I would love to go on and on and on about the CRM. I spent a year and a half talking about it. So instead, I'll switch gears and I'll open up the stage for all of our team members to answer a few questions.
Great. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. So I think we've been answering the majority of our questions pretty quickly in the chat so far. So if we might be a little bit behind, or some might be really specific that we might need to check something on. So we'll be doing that. But to, I'll see if I can find some that might be good questions for everyone else. James, I know you've been answering a bunch too. If there's any that you thought were a really good question that might benefit everyone, if you want to go ahead and like say the question and answer it, feel free if you want to jump into, but if you don't see one, no problem. Um, and then as a reminder, uh, we're just getting started. We're just launching this today. We're giving open access to everyone. So as Brian mentioned, we definitely want to work with your team to find a good fit for this. There's a lot of different pieces of a CRM. It's a very loaded term. Like CRM, depending on your job or industry, might mean very different things. So we are very much trying to build a CRM for the flooring, tiling, industry, basically all the work that everyone does in this room, to some degree. So we're very much trying to take our strengths and put them into a CRM, along with a lot of the common, very helpful functions that other CRMs do. But we are trying to say, hey, like you might be manipulating Zoho or HubSpot or something like that, or even Excel for your specific work. Our goal is to not have to use workarounds, in those other systems and make something that's built for you guys, just like we did with MeasureSquare 8 and the iPad. Instead of having to use a generic tool, you get to use something that's built for you. So you can scan the QR code on the screen. You can just go to measuresquare.com/CRM. That's the best way to get there probably for you guys. If you want to check out, kind of some more details on the CRM, and then it will give you the path to reach out to us, or if you want to start in and start a trial or pilot, you'll be able to access it from there. If anyone does get to the point where they're ready to log in and start giving this a try, just use your existing MeasureSquare ID. If you happen to be maybe on the operational side, or and you actually don't use our takeoff software, but that your company does, you can just create a MeasureSquare ID. The MeasureSquare ID is just like an Apple ID. It's just your email, and then you generate a password for yourself. And again, if you're looking to get more information, if you have very specific questions, if you want to set up a meeting, that's what we're going to be doing going forward. So Brian Dang, his email is up here on the screen. He's the lead on this project, so feel free to shoot him an email if you have any operational questions or anything that might involve multiple team members here. Feel free to shoot me an email. You can, CC both of us depending what you need to ask, and we'll happy to follow up with you over the next few days and weeks as well. Someone asks, we haven't answered this. Will this link with our RFMS? At the moment, no. At our philosophy, we've had some integration questions, obviously, that popped up. Will we integrate with Rollmaster, Q4, things like that? Since the CRM is just launching, we're still on that road to open it up to integrate with other platforms. We've already done the QuickBooks, we've done Xero, we've done Gmail, we've done Outlook. We'll be improving those as well. But we'll be continuing to do more. If you're familiar with our existing cloud and software, we've done a lot of integrations. We've probably done some individual integrations with folks in this room. So we will be going down that road and improving those. I unfortunately can't say for sure, right? I can't really say with confidence that we will integrate with RFMS. And the best way I could say it, it's not because of us. We're happy to integrate with anyone, but usually it's usually a bit of closed door with that side of the world, especially with Syncly acquiring them. Not really too sure what their future looks like. So unfortunately, we haven't been able to have a connection there. But hey, if there's some sort of Excel import that they do, we can always do an Excel export if that helps. But we hope to maybe steal you away from those folks, at some point. So sorry if that is not the best answer someone wanted to hear, but that's the reality at the moment. This is a really good question that I've been looking into recently. Do we enter ITB data manually? So invitation to bids. Currently, yes, but I'm very interested with some of the product work I do with the team is how does everyone get their bids invited? I know there's different platforms out there, and we're always interested in connecting those if we can. But if there's something that we might do organically in the future, it's always good to know like what's the most common way people find their bids. How do you guys get invited? So if there's however you guys get invited to bids, please let us know. At some point maybe we can do some sort of email scraping, but very interested to find out how you guys get your invitations to bids on that commercial and maybe larger multifamily side. So that is a bit of a manual process at the moment, but we're very interested in that part of the equation too, which is obviously part of the pre-construction and estimating. Um, if anyone else wants to jump in besides me to ask or answer questions that you've seen in the chat, feel free. I don't want to take up all the
Yeah,
time here.
I see a couple questions, and they're all really good questions about, do I have to pay for a subcontract installer? We use subcontractors. Can this send work orders to them? You'll only need to pay for office workers if you want, and our system can send out work orders and installations to those subcontractors and installers free of charge. And with those work orders, you also include a diagram from our system as well, and even cut sheets as well. Then, as I mentioned earlier, if you want that fine-tune access with Job Tracker, that would be a separate payment or an additional package as well.
Great. And I see someone said we use building connected to source our ITBs. Come across that as well. I'm not sure if there's a connection available with them, but if there is, we will take a look into it. But thank you for the feedback on that. Someone gets ITBs via email. So I can see the email is kind of one of those pain points that comes in there. So we'll make a note of that as one of the options that we can look into. Uh, Someone asked, does the price of the M2 MeasureSquare CRM include the takeoff and estimating, and is it separate from Job Tracker? The CRM is a separate product from MeasureSquare 8 and the iPad. So it is a separate product. Not everyone's going to use everything, so you can buy them a la carte is probably a good way to say it. Good. And then they also asked about Job Tracker. The Job Tracker is a separate standalone app right now. One of the points of the CRM is to kind of be an aggregator for everything, so we don't have a bunch of standalone things. So sometimes things need to be separate, and it's just a really strong integration like we've done with the estimation software. Job Tracker over the coming year will be absorbed and integrated into the CRM. We already have a fair amount of folks using Job Tracker, having very good success with it, finding it very beneficial, saving time out in the field. So we'll be integrating parts of that into Job Tracker, but for the time being, Job Tracker will be a standalone product. If you are one of the packages for the CRM that you guys will find does include Job Tracker, so it will be a standalone product, but you will be able to use both at the same time. And then over time, you'll see it get closer connected. So just depends on what you want to deploy. For all the folks who are looking into this, as we kind of mentioned before, as Brian was going over the deployment process, we will help work with your team. One of the words of wisdom that I will give to everyone is that we've done plenty of CRM deployments ourselves. This is not our first CRM we've built. Might be the first one you're hearing about, but we've done some specialty CRMs in the past. I myself on the operations sides have deployed our internal CRM ourselves many times. It can be a large undertaking. So the best thing to do is not try to solve. If you have 10 problems, don't try to solve 10 at once. Just do one by one. Maybe deploy one department at a time. It just depends on your resources and those kind of things. But try not to bite up too much more than you can chew. We'll be happy to help you evaluate how to do that. But that's one thing I say is there's a lot of things that might get you excited, but it's best to stay focused and do one thing at a time generally, or maybe a couple things at a time. So if you feel overwhelmed, we'll help you kind of just narrow the focus to hey, what's your big couple pain points you want to tackle first? So it's something that you can succeed at. We've been there as well. It's a process to do those kind of things.
Cool. And then I see a couple of questions about invoicing and back-end accounting. So I didn't show it, but every one of the order forms in our system can be transferred into an invoice. And you can even make final adjustments if, through email or off paper, you might have adjusted the prices. And then for accounting, we actually hand it off to QuickBooks Online and Xero for accounting. With, again, like I said earlier, more on the way. And I think Jim's always loving to sort of mention that we're always trying to find sort of more connections and keeping our doors open to everybody as well.
Great. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate it. And just so you know, if we don't, I don't imagine once you leave this webinar, if we answer it, you might not see it. So I know we've answered some of these questions verbally. If we do happen to miss any before it's over, we definitely will follow up with everyone. Once we're all done here, since this is all being recorded, we have access to all these questions. So Brian and some of the team will go through all these questions and follow up with you in here, but we'll do our best to stay on and answer them as well.
I just saw another good question about controlling permissions. I'm not too sure if we mentioned it before, but this specific question says, can we set it so a user can only build new bids and they can't delete any prior bids? We can do that. And not only that, we let you customize it person by person, and you could set it so they can only see their own bids, or you could group people into teams and you can say they can only view their team's bids. That way, if you have multiple branches or offices, they're not butting heads or accidentally running into each other's workflows.
All right, thank you, Brian. Let me see. Oh, Brian, this is a good question. Is there bid versioning?
Oh, Brian, you're muted.
Thank you so much, James. I'll have to rewind a little bit and remember what I said. So you're asking about multiple bid versions. Our system supports that, and not only supporting it through alternates or creating multiples, but supporting multiple different ways to get there. So, I created one bid in my system. I could actually duplicate that document and make changes there where, say, I know I just want to delete all the carpet from this or remove or add certain line items. Just as well, I can actually re-estimate on MeasureSquare 8. And instead of bringing those updates into my current bid, I could turn it into a second bid so I can have sequential versions with their own unique plans.
Hey guys, this is James I here. I used to work for a flooring contractor doing estimating and a little project management, but this is the software that you're looking for. Trust me, the amount of time you save in terms of the schedule of values and the automatic document creation, it really is unbelievable. It's worth getting a demo with us for sure. Just my 2 cents.
Thank you for that, James. Appreciate it. James is one of our newer team members here at MeasureSquare, and I'm sorry, I was answering questions, so I didn't hear every single word you said. But James comes from your industry. He's a very valuable resource for us. So we're always looking to. If you've been a long time customer, I've ever visited our office, you'll know we've gone from a very small team to a much larger team. We still might have more developers than office staff, which is saying something. So we very much are a tech-focused company, but we're also always trying to hire people that can give us a better perspective and better direction. So hiring from within the industry can be very difficult for a software company, which is why we're very happy to have James on board here. I come from a light construction background and did some light estimating with Excel and a digitizer back in the day. But James here, a fellow James, directly comes from he was an existing customer, which is great. So thanks for being a part of this, James, and answering these questions. So I have to be impressed. I'm sorry, I feel like we might be missing questions. There is a lot in here, which is a great problem to have. So I'm typing away trying to answer some myself. Brian and James, I know as an easy way, we assume an unassigned question is unanswered is the way I'm doing it right now. So if you see something you're answering, assign it to yourself, just as an easy way to knock things out. I know we did answer some through verbally as well. So guys, feel free to keep throwing your questions in here. I think we'll probably stay on for another, I don't know, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, as long as the questions are being thrown in here. And then when we send this out, we'll cut the beginning of this beginning of the presentation away. So like that 20-minute waiting room we essentially had, we'll chop that away. So when you play this back, it will just be the actual presentation. But we'll leave this Q&A at the end in case anyone wants to stay on watching it to hear some answers that we might have had. So I'm going to go back to answer some questions. Brian, if you see any you want to answer, feel free, or James
We're
as well.
we're getting a lot of questions about integrating with other softwares. Brian, I don't know if you want to speak about the open API plans.
Yeah, so with the sort of softwares you mentioned earlier, the ones we integrate with now are QuickBooks Zero, Google, and Microsoft. And that's a good point. I think I saw someone ask if they could import Microsoft contacts. You can import both contacts from Microsoft and Google. We have that open API, so if there isn't a connection now, our door's open where you guys could bring on a personal software developer and they could plug the connections together to automate that system. And then as well, we don't have a specific list of the ordering or, what we explicitly want to work with next, but we're going through a list of integrations as well to expand that.
Great, thanks for that. Yeah, I know the integration is always a big question when we come with these. So just to reiterate, yeah, the integrations will be coming, but don't let that deter you. Integration software development is always a slower process than you want, and the integration is can be a critical thing, but you can always start out using them in parallel or doing some manual process and then work towards that integration side. So we'll be developing APIs for this down the road, and especially as we understand which ones are needed. It's not just a turn it off, turn on thing. We need to understand specifically what needs to be integrated. So the only way that happens is from users getting on the platform, using it, and then we figure out the specific integrations. So like it may be with the Q4 as a role master down the road or some other thing that we'll be able to do. If it's a very specific platform to yourself, as Brian mentioned, just as like kind of give you guys an idea if you've never done this before, it usually involves some of our resources, but like Microsoft isn't going to give you a resource, to integrate with. So sometimes it requires hiring a third party person to do that part on your side, unless you have one internally, with I know some folks might do. But it's usually going to be XML based through our APIs. So they're usually pretty straightforward on the super technical side, but I don't want to get too deep into those weeds. See if there's any other questions I see
I
here
see
for
one
you
from Dave.
guys.
David says, generally I receive price quotes from vendors via email, and these are either in a PDF or an email body. We're very familiar with that. Every vendor likes to handle price requesting in their own unique way, and our system supports both of those. And I wish I could have shown you guys earlier in the demo. There's a lot to cover, but not only do we store those PDFs or emails, we'll track expiration dates, and you can even click on a product with special pricing, and it'll link you to that email as well.
Great, thank you, Brett. And then I'm going to answer a couple questions real quick. I'll just mark these as myself so I know. Someone asked, can we link to any other takeoff software to CRM like PlanSwift? We don't have any plans for anything like that. Apologies on that. Obviously, we'd like you to be using MeasureSquare over PlanSwift, but we know that's not always the case. A lot of products out there like PlanSwift, really good products. They've been out there for a while, so they're a bit of a legacy system. So they likely don't have the ability to connect to us. They might not want to be honest. But if you are using PlanSwift, feel free to reach out to us. Hopefully we could sway you on using MeasureSquare 8. We really are probably one of the strongest softwares out there in our field, and we're very committed to this industry. We're one of the probably few independently run and owned software companies now, as we see the consolidation out there, which gives us a big benefit. You guys are our stakeholders. We don't have anyone to answer to. We don't have investors to answer to. We answer to everyone in this meeting right now. So we're working for you guys, and because of the investment we have in technology, our integration in these situations is to be very strong, which is one of the real big benefits, is taking our existing estimation data and diagrams and plugging them into a CRM in a very deep way. As Brian was mentioning, how everything's connected, it's because of that integration that we can do, since it's all within our ecosystem, even though we will connect to other systems. And Stephen, our founder, who works very closely with our development team, made a really good point in here, is that there's a lot of uncertainty with different companies getting kind of bought up and acquired and things like that. This is a very large commitment to us. We're not decommitting to anything. MeasureSquare 8, iPad are stable products of ours. Of those, will continue to be. You can't see them, but the person behind me is hard at work on MeasureSquare 8 updates right now. But the MeasureSquare CRM is a very big commitment. We have a very large team on this project. This is a big thing for us. Well, this is a big commitment for us for the next 5 to 10 years. This isn't something, hey, what you see is what you get and we're done with it. Brian here was brought on specifically for this project, and we'll be working on this very heavily for the next 5 to 10 years, if not more. So this is not a quick little thing we're doing. This is just, call this version 1, version 1.5, or maybe 4.0 compared to our last CRMs. But this is a big project that we'll be continuing to work on. So we're hoping people want to jump on and give this a go now, and then we'll also be building it with you. If you're familiar with this, I hope everyone agrees that we take feedback and implement it very well, at least to the best of our ability. So we're very excited to get everyone's hands-on with this finally, as we've been working probably about 1.5 years very hard on this, if not more, along with our beta groups who already have had some really good success with it. So this would be a very large commitment for us for the long term, is an easy way to say it. All right. Let's see if there's anything else I can answer for you guys. I think it's, I don't know, I was about to say it's slowing down, but I see a lot more questions. All right. All right. Thank you. You got a compliment, Brian, on a demo. A good job on the demo. So kudos to you.
Yep, I'm taking a good look reading those ones.
Yeah. Cool. And then someone, I know this has already been answered, but someone asked about a trial. Yes, you can start out a trial and pilot program with us today. I believe our trial is set to about 14 days. And if you happen to need a little bit more time, a few more days, we're usually pretty flexible with that. So just let us know. But as pretty much anything we do, you can always get on a trial first. All right. And then someone asked this in case there's anyone who's like using us with Rodloom or Rollmaster or Qforce, anything like that, and they're asking about the trial. No worries if you're going through anyone else for MeasureSquare. For the CRM, just come directly to us and we'll handle it for you guys. There won't be any weird conflicts or anything like that. So if anyone's at all is interested in CRM, just come right through us. Reach out to us, fill out the form on the MeasureSquare.com/CRM, and we'll be happy to help with getting you guys set up. And I'm not sure if we mentioned this, but when you guys do jump into CRM, if you're familiar with CRM, it should be pretty easy to kind of navigate to get an idea of where you're going. And we'll have some tutorials, I believe. Is this correct, Brian? We have some tutorials embedded on the different pages, so you can kind of get like a quick look
Yeah.
on how to get set up or started.
Yeah, so in our system, say you haven't created a quote before, it's your first time logging on, our system actually recommends videos for you just to speed up that sort of learning process and automate it for you.
All right, great. So really appreciate, we still got over 100 people in here, so I really appreciate everyone staying on this long. But I think we'll probably be wrapping up in the next couple minutes. Let's see. Someone asked a good question. Are there any internal chat capabilities, conversation boards? Not at the moment, but that might be something down the road. I'll assign this to you, Brian, just to make a note of it. That might be something we do. We've done some chat things in the past. So now that might be something we look at down the road. So appreciate you bringing that up. Let's see. I'm hoping I'm trying to get all these questions answered, especially for the folks who stuck around. If you guys asked a question like 20 minutes ago and we still haven't gotten to it, feel free to ask it one more time. I'll try to pay attention to the bottom of the chat here. Yeah, there is. Yes, thanks, Stephen. There is a chat. This is kind of a good way to promote it. We do have if I answer this question wrong, we do have a chat in our Facebook user group. We have a lot of folks who are a lot of users who are part of that user group. So if you wanted to like post questions or ask questions from to us or to existing users like yourself, our Facebook group is available as well.
Yeah, just following up with that, just like with our estimation software, we're always looking to improve. So we'd like to keep an eye on the Facebook user group. If you guys are all mentioning certain features or improvements, just know that we're listening.
Yeah. All right, couple minutes there.
This system, it was almost built entirely off of customer feedback. It's truly unique. You can send out pricing requests to each of your vendors automatically. It just takes that whole process out of the equation. And yeah, that feedback just keeps coming in, and we're just going to keep improving.
Great. Thank you. Appreciate that, James. All right, Brian, I think we're probably getting up on our time. I've gotten some like private messages and things about like specific like pricing tiers and all those. Well, we don't want to go down into the weeds too much right now on that. We want to kind of have some one-on-one conversations with everyone. So if you guys have any specific pricing and billing questions regarding this, feel free to visit the MeasureSquare.com/CRM. That will give you an overview of the structure of how it all works. And then for those specific questions for like your team to figure out what you might need or how it gets paid like month to month versus annually, please reach out to us individually, and we'll set up meetings to cover those things. What we really want to have everyone do is jump on board, start a pilot or trial, and really start to see the value of the software. That's really the first step, and then get some initial feedback from you guys too on how it could work for you as well. So one last thing I'll say, again, this is all being recorded. We'll share this by tomorrow with everyone. Again, we really are excited to show this to everyone, get everyone's hands on it. If we will go through this later today and tomorrow to check on any questions we may have missed. If you do not hear from us by, say, Monday or so with a question that you asked, feel free to shoot me and Brian an email. I'll apologize ahead of time. We'll do our best to try to follow with you individually. But if we happen to miss any, just feel free to reach out to us. If you can't wait, to shoot us an email today, and we'll answer it. So I do apologize if we missed any. We tried to answer as many as we can, but we want to be respectful of everyone's time. And then hopefully get some people started on the CRM in the next few days and coming weeks. That's it for me, Brian. Any last comments before we end this here?
Nothing else to add. I just want to reiterate that I'm super grateful for all of you guys showing up. It's always a pleasure working with people in the industry. Everyone I've met, I've loved. So just hope to keep working and making sure that our CRM meets everyone's needs as best as possible.
Great. Thank you. Okay. All right. So that is the end of our presentation. Brian, thank you for preparing and running this. There's a lot more to show everyone, so we hope to talk to you more about this in the coming weeks. Please visit the URL you see there to learn more and to get on the next steps. And then we'll be sharing this recording with everyone in the next 24 hours or so. So I'm going to officially close and end this. And again, we'll try to answer all those lingering questions in the next couple of days. So thank you again, everyone. Have a good rest of your Thursday. Happy February 1st.